Hi, it's Michelle Fox, and I am struggling because I am trying to think of how to explain personal branding and why it's important, what it is. And really, it's still a fairly fresh concept to me, and I'm just getting my head wrapped around it. And I understand that it is important and it is helping me, and it's a path that I'm enjoying being on, but I still feel inadequate when I try to explain it big picture. So feel free to Google it and to continue looking at, how other people, you know, portray it or explain it. But here's my take is that we are one in a sea of other, representatives, direct sales people, online marketers. And if we really want to make an impact and have a relationship with customers and clients that lasts, that endures, that continues to grow, there needs to be a connection bigger than between your customer and the brand that you sell. They need to really make a connection with you, the person, and you are more than your brand. You do have unique strengths and perspectives and goals. You do have a unique way about you. There may be things in your life, hobbies, backgrounds, educational experiences that you can bring that shed light on the product or service that you have to offer that make you unique in the marketplace. What is that? The more you start thinking about it, the more you start to understand what a brand is. Oprah Winfrey is not just another TV broadcaster or newscaster. She was Oprah Winfrey. She came on the scene and she had a way about her. She had her own way of interviewing people, of dressing, of acting. And she had a very powerful presence. She had a signature, literally, her Oprah signature that came across the screen was consistently that. And you knew that represented, you knew who that represented. That's what I'm getting at, is that we can have that for ourselves, that we can decide to show up and be the expert in our field, be the guru of something. And the more specific you can get, the better. So, and here's, I'm not super good at examples, so forgive me, but so let's say that you sell health and wellness products and that specifically you sell diet shakes and that kind of thing, but you personally lost weight following a keto diet and using that shake. And that the fact that you lost weight, changed your life forever. And so that is all, those are all elements that you're bringing as a representative for that brand or that company. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's richer, it's different than what somebody else is bringing. So start thinking about, what is your niche? What do people come to you and ask for help with? What questions are asked of you most often? If you're at a party and you tell somebody what you do, what aspect of it do you end up talking about the longest? When you start chatting with somebody about doing what you do, what do you focus on because you enjoy it the most? These are all things that might help you start to figure out, what makes you uniquely you in the marketplace. I have had to think through like different scenarios because I'm starting to do different things. Now I have my direct sales business and now I'm starting to do this kind of mentoring, and I have a team that's getting really big. And so in each scenario, it's a little bit different. And so I'm pondering, is there an overlying, sameness? Is there something that's always, the same? And so it's interesting. It's kind of like counseling to go through and start thinking about that. But anyway, so you want to think about, what are your strengths? What are your interests? What do you uniquely bring to the table? And also, you want to really zero in on who is your ideal customer. So I could say that I sell to women. I sell skincare and cosmetics. Well, that might seem like a good idea because then I have a huge marketplace, all women. But actually, I don't sell to all women. Ideally, and most of my customers, like my good, consistent, ongoing customers, are typically, 30 to 60, college educated, employed, own their own home, they're concerned about the signs of age, they wear makeup. So I can actually list like these are the characteristics of my ideal, so to speak, customer. That's my icon, my customer icon. And that doesn't mean that I don't sell to people older or younger or that aren't married or don't have a house or whatever. It just means that there is a certain market that I sell to. So think of it like this. If I walked into a room of just 100 random people and did a presentation versus I walked into a room of 100 people that for sure were between the ages 30 and 60, married, own their own home, they were employed, they care about aging, they wear makeup every day. Which scenario do you think I'm going to sell more? So it's not a way of being, biased or discriminating or anything. That's not it at all. It's that the more you understand what you uniquely bring and the more you understand who you're trying to market to, the more efficient you can be with your time. And also that's going to help you determine your brand. So if I am marketing to, middle-aged women, I might not want, bright yellow and fire engine red with big block letters. That doesn't feel middle-aged woman. You know what I mean? So all of this comes into play. So the very first part of it all is when you're branding yourself, you're realizing that you're more than your company. What are you uniquely bringing to the table? What are you the guru of? There's someone named Kimberly Olson who is in social media marketing, and she is called the goal getter girl, goal setter girl, goal getter. But her brand is the goal getter girl. And so that it's hard for me to remember her actual name because that's how I see her and that's how I think of her. So you might even come up with a clever little, name like that for yourself, something that's other than using your own name. I know Shamika is part of this group and she is the how-to entrepreneur. Very, very clever. I love that. So you could have that persona be part of your brand. So, that's something to start thinking about. But then also, as you are developing your brand, you want to start thinking about color palettes, fonts, logos. And then as you develop those, you want that to be consistent across all of your social media platforms. What's happening there is you're getting that recognition where people are like, oh, that's my girl, oh yeah. And think about it. Think about the people that you follow. And if you can't, if you haven't noticed, then go back and look at their personal profile, their business page, their group page. And most likely you'll either see the same headshot or you'll see the same banner background or the same signature logo. There'll be something in there that is consistent that says that you're at the right place, that is the right person. And you want that. So that's goes beyond name recognition. It's brand recognition, right? So that's kind of cool. So you get to start thinking about, well, what colors, represent the feel that I want to convey, and fonts, and even pictures, because you're going to start creating banners. It's a great idea to have cohesive banners, in all of your different Facebook accounts. And I know that in Instagram, they really stress having the color palette, and usually the influencers, if you look at their posts, you'll definitely see that they use the same type of photography effects, and they have different color palettes, and you can just look at their, it's not called their feed, but like when you look at all of their different posts, you can just tell that it has its own special look about it. And that is a brand, okay? So we're going to start applying that to you. And it might seem kind of frivolous, like superfluous, but I think that the biggest thing is that it really gets you to start seeing yourself as an expert, to kind of marking this as this is a new day. I went from just slapping any old thing on my Facebook background to being strategic, to having a plan, to being consistent, to showing up, knowing what it is that I'm bringing that's of value. You follow me? So it's exciting. I mean, it's a lot, but it's cool. And so I'm going to show you a couple of fun places that you can start just kind of looking around, playing around to get ideas. And then if this is something that you want to do for real, then I can give you some suggestions of where you could go to have it, kind of professionally spiffed up a little bit, okay? So I got to get my eyeballs on here for a second. I want to go, let's see, where should I start? I think we'll start here. So this is, no, let's go this way. I just put in the Google search bar, feminine brand board. So you could do that in Google. You can look that up on Pinterest. You could look it up on Etsy. Any of those places are going to show you some great examples of a brand board. And so it's basically where you are taking a collection of, you're selecting the colors and the look that you want. And it's nice to just kind of see what other people have put together just to kind of get started, because it's kind of overwhelming at first. But let's see if I can make one bigger so we can really see what's going on here. Oh, hopefully I chose a good one. Oh, let's see. All right. Okay, well, yeah, I guess. So that is her logo. And then she likes that color variation in the background. And these are her fonts. And then these are her colors. That's her color scheme. So that is her brand aesthetic and her mood board. So she probably has more. Yeah. So then she goes on and she actually has pictures that inspire her. I don't do so much with the pictures because, I'm more practical. I just had the colors and the fonts and that kind of thing. But yeah, if you're artsy fartsy, or if that's something that speaks to you, you can do it with pictures as well. So there are 3 places. You can Google feminine brand board. You can go to Etsy, or you could go to Pinterest. Those are just a few things for you to check out. Something else that you can do is to look at the various color palettes that are trending. This is Coolors, Coolors, but it's .co. If you put in .com, you'll get to the wrong place. This is just showing like some of the color palettes that are trending right now so that you can see what is popular and exciting. My husband and I both work from home, so sometimes the bandwidth is like struggling. Hold that thought. We'll go backwards. So these are some colors that are popular at this time. Some of them I'm like, really? Seriously? But anyway, so you can kind of get an idea of what is going on. Not that you would have to pick any of these, but it's just giving you some ideas of what is going on. This one is fun. Colormind, COLORMIND.io. Here you just can click the word generate, and it will just over and over just create a bunch of different color combinations for you to look at until you find something that you are excited about. The one that I like the best is to go use on my phone. I like to use the, let's see, this one, the COOLORS. I like to use the app on my phone, is easier than the laptop, the desktop version. And when I'm on my phone with it, I just click through and, you know, can look at all these different palettes. And let's see, I'll do one of them. Okay, it's called generating. So when you generate a palette on your phone, it's way easier. There's a button at the bottom that you can just click over and over. And so like if you didn't like this, you would just click and it would change it, click, change it, click, change it. But what's really cool about this one is that, let's say you think, okay, I want to get rid of everything except I actually like this blue. You can lock that down, and then when you click, it'll keep that, but it'll change everything else. But when I tried doing it on the desktop, it doesn't work. So that is frustrating. So yeah, anyway. So those are a couple places you can look to just look at color schemes. So that was COOLORS.co. And then this one is Color Mind, COLORMIND.io. And here is where you can even create your own logo. This is on Canva. If you just type in logo, it will give you some ready-made logos just to get you started. And you can change up, you know, anything. So let's say, you know, I like this Simply Bella. For some reason, there's something speaks to me. But then I think to myself, yeah, except I don't really want a girl with a hat on there. So why I chose that, I'm not sure. But then you could go into photos and you can choose a different photo to substitute in there, or you can go into elements and choose something else to put in there. Oh, we'll put a cougar in there or whatever. But you can change this around however you want. I have no idea what is possessing me to put this in there. Okay, so there we are. Simply Bella cougar wear. Oh my gosh. And then also what's cool is that these colors up here, that is why you want to pick out your color scheme, your color board, because you can actually tell Canva what colors you want to work with. So if I you know, didn't want these colors, I can click on this and go back and say, okay, these are my brand colors, like for real, in real life. These are my brand colors. So I could say, okay, instead of those colors, let's use my brand colors for this. So I want to substitute, you know, that with, I don't know, that, or etc. And then you can just kind of go through and play with it. So it's really kind of cool. Lots of really neat things that you can do. Yeah. As you can tell, I'm just random. And I'm not super artistic. Same thing with the color of your fonts, your letters, and that kind of thing you can change. One thing also that's neat is that in Canva, when you add text, you can tell it either that, you know, I just simply want to add text to a page, or you can actually choose the look of the text. So let's say that I just like, you know, how this looks, that you can click that in there and you can put whatever you want. You know, you can then change that up so that it says something else. You know, whatever. Isn't this pretty? Wouldn't you want to buy this? But my point is that you can just change things up however you want. It's very user friendly. It's very, what's the word? Like you can just change it to be, change. What is the word I'm trying to think of? Adaptable? I don't know. But, and then what's the other? There's styles. Yeah. When you are trying to come up with your signature colors and fonts, there are some suggestions in here as well. they have, like they call this rosettes and cream, strawberry froth, et cetera, et cetera. So they can show you different colors, but they also have paired fonts together. And so why am I bringing that up? Because I'll show you what my signature logo looks like. One moment, please. That's one of them anyway. So like I have two fonts. There's the font, there's the script font, that Michelle Fox is written in, and then there's the print underneath it. So the person that designed this knew that those fonts, worked well together. And so I made sure that I made a note of what those fonts are called so that if I wanted to use those fonts throughout the document, that I would be able to do that also. Let's see, get rid of that. This would be an example of the little logo that I use most. This is like my sub logo is what it's called. I'll go back home. And review the logo options here. So for logos, there's usually a signature logo that is your literal name with maybe a tagline underneath. There's a sub logo that is a symbol or something smaller that might be like in the lower right of the screen when you're doing a video. And you can also have, let's see, so there's your logo, there's a tagline, that you could have like your mission statement, so to speak, could be part of your banner. So these are all just different things to start pondering. But Canva is just so cool. Canva also has like brand boards, but that's not what they call it. It's like something else. Maybe it's color something. No. No. Color palette. I'm not sure what they call that. Those are not very impressive. Mood, that's what it is. Mood board. All right, there we go. So these are pretty good examples how like this has a certain mood to it. The colors and the fonts, it's very young and fresh and fun. Like you would not expect this to be like a man's 80th birthday party. This is going to be more like for Easter or for children. You know what I'm saying? So like their colors and fonts do give off a certain feel, and it's just an interesting, fun thing to start exploring. And what was over here? Oh yeah, that was just that thing. Is there anything else over there? I think the only other thing I was going to show would be this was the first set of logos that I got. This was on Fiverr.com, and I just basically said, I gave him some ideas of colors that I liked. I chose a couple of the fonts, and then he put together, the Submark logo and did the little heart thing and stuff like that. So it was just kind of fun. And so I've got these now, like I own them, so I can use them so that I can be consistent. I've pretty much chosen the main logo, so I don't really use this one in the middle, because I try to be consistent with that. So that was fun to have somebody design that for me. And that was like, I think like $20 or something. Wasn't a whole lot of money. So that was that. But anyway, so once you start on that path, then you can start putting something together yourself that you like. Keep a file of the ideas that you like on Google and Pinterest and wherever. And then you could go to a place called Fiverr.com, Fiverr. There's two R's.com. And you want to find someone who will design a feminine logo. And then when you hire them, you can send them what you've mocked up so far and say, this is kind of what I'm thinking, could you do something along these lines? And that is very helpful because then they kind of have a starting point. Another place is called 99 Designs. It's 99 DESIGNS. 599designs.com. But that is more high end. That's a more, I don't want to say more professional, because Fiverr is, they're professional, but it's more expensive. The 99 Designs is more expensive. So those are some things to be thinking about. The branding seminar that I took, we did our Facebook banner for our personal page, making sure that we were using our colors and fonts, and that the background pictures and everything were all, cohesive. And then we moved on and did our business page banner. We made sure that we had a professional headshot, head and shoulders, as opposed to just like a sexy selfie with the, the seatbelt and all that, because you want to be perceived as a professional. And so it was just an opportunity to not only brainstorm through the creative aspects of it, but to actually do it, to like put it together, to make sure it was cohesive, to do the work. Oh my gosh, because I've got so many groups. I went through and made sure that all my banners, had something in common, that I was using the same signature logo. And it was a lot of work, but it was fun, and it was enlightening. And I think I've said before that probably the biggest thing to me is when you start branding yourself, is that it really helps you see yourself as an expert. It's like a line in the sand. Like, today's the day. Today's the day I show up. Today is the day that I am large and in charge. I'm louder, prouder, and I'm ready to work. And it's just a really cool thing. So if nothing else, just get on some of these free apps and play around, come up with some color schemes, and start thinking also of taglines. That's fun. Ish. It can also be a little stressful, but think of, in a few words, what represents who you are, or what your services are, or what's unique about you. So much to think about. So, and like I said, as you are looking at the different influencers and people that you follow and groups that you're in, you'll start noticing how they are doing it as well. And that will give you inspiration. So hopefully this will give you a few things to think about and maybe work on. Let us know if you do. And if you have a brand board, a signature logo, a color look, anything like that, show us in the comments. That would be so helpful. I know that it would really help others. I'll post mine. I've got the one that I had made, and then I put one together myself that's kind of used some of those colors, but I've shifted a few things. So that's another thing, is that it's not set in stone. You're not married to it. I think that that's what kind of took me the longest, is like, oh gosh, I've got to pick the perfect logo, the perfect color, the perfect font. Just get something out there, get something going that, is a good starting point, and you can tweak it. No problem. Okay. So that's what I have to say about that. Hopefully I didn't confuse you too much. But let me know what your thoughts are. If you think this is something that you will pursue or not. I've enjoyed doing it. And I think it's made a difference. And oddly, pretty much everywhere I go, people will say things to me like, gosh, you are just really going places, aren't you? Or, your business is really taking off, isn't it? When, how could they know that? Right? Like, what's changed? The only thing that's really changed is that I'm just representing myself differently. And so it makes a difference. All right. So have some fun with it and report back. Let us know what's going on, what you think. The next video, we will talk about how to expand your audience, how to expand your reach, your influence, increase your numbers, get more likes, more followers, more people in your group, more customers overall. There are some obvious ways, there are some not so obvious ways, and there are some straight up tricks. And I'm going to share what I know, and hopefully we can continue to build and grow and learn together. So I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.